Sure.
Betty, do we have delegation?
Yes, Madam President, there are 4 delegations who have signed in to speak this morning. I would remind each person who will address the state board that there is a 5-minute time limit. I will give you a 2-minute warning, and at the end of 5 minutes, I will announce time. Mrs. Manchin, President Manchin, the first delegation is Mr. William Simmons from Gilmer County, who would like to speak to the amount of money per acre for Cedar Creek Elementary.
President Manchin, Superintendent Ferris, members of the state board. First thing I want to say is that I can take some credit for teaching some of the teachers who taught the students at Richfield. You know, education is all tied together. I had good teachers. I hope I was a good teacher, and I hope some of those young people become teachers. That's what we're all about. I'm here today at the request of our board to make a matter of public record with regard to a proposal for acquisition of property for the Cedar Creek Elementary School. We, as a board, have not had an opportunity to discuss this proposal. While facilities, major facilities, is not part of what was returned to us as a board, we have progressed tremendously. We have a good group. We are able to make decisions and certainly to express opinions. I think there are a lot of questions with regard to this proposal, and I would hope that you as a board would allow us at least the opportunity to discuss it. The people in Gilmer County expect us to know. And when land is appraised for $1,400 per acre, and we're offering $5,400 for hillside land, that raises a lot of questions. I think there are some other issues. As you know, oil and gas is worth something now in central West Virginia. Why do we not get the mineral rights to that piece of property? At Glenville State, I had 3 gas wells, and we didn't have a gas bill for years. That was a tremendous asset to us. Why not for Cedar Creek Elementary? I've been on this board for 2 years. I've been teaching graduate students to the history of English language and to read Old English, and I got involved because I was asked to. I stepped into the middle of a lot of things, and I'm beginning to understand the complexities that we have to deal with. I do not have a problem with inter-county or multi-county schools. I think it makes good sense as long as folks are treated fairly. I understand the need for consolidation, and I have worked closely with the superintendent, and I did not oppose the Cedar Creek site because for the consolidation, it's about as centrally located for all those who would use it as you could get. I do feel that with a board such as we have now, that we should at least have the opportunity to discuss some of the issues associated with this.
2 minutes
because
remaining.
like it or not, we are held accountable. I get asked questions that I can't answer. There has been a great lack of information. I asked the superintendent 2 or 3 weeks ago to please have the architects to come to our board meeting and give us an update on where we were. That has not happened. And I think there will be a lot of blowback on this issue if we just go ahead and approve it without people having a little bit of input. You know, we can disagree philosophically all over the globe, but people still count money. Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I may get the door, Mrs. Manchin, before we start, there's a lot of noise in the hallway. Thanks. The next delegation is Ms. Norma Hurley from Gilmer County, who will speak to the Gilmer County purchasing of land.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Norma Hurley. I represent the Gilmer Schools Coalition, and I'm a board member elected effective January 1 for Gilmer County. We have a long way to go. Our problem was never that of Richie, or Richwood rather, and I commend them heartily. They've done a fantastic job. But however, back in 2010 and 11, our schools all met AYP according to state standards, and we were operating in the black. So the intervention came as quite a shock to the people of Gilmer County. Of course, consolidation has been one issue. However, our board did have foresight to see that consolidation was necessary. It was going to happen. Our county had consolidated from 20 elementaries to 4 previously. They consolidated from 5 high schools to 1 previously. The people did that without force. Now the mountaineers of Gilmer County don't feel as though they are free. We live under a dictatorship. Our people are told nothing. I'm sorry, I mean no disrespect. I don't think anyone here intended that, but that has been the result. There has been no oversight. Intervention counties have been taken to meetings and set aside as though they were special children that needed to be addressed, not included with their peers and to mentor and determine. The superintendent has not attempted to bring the board forward. For 2 years they sat there, and the whole time I was at every meeting, a pledge of allegiance. No instruction. Now we sit, and we have various incongruities that I think you need to be aware of. I mean, one is simply that I would like to point out, and I hate to go back to history, but on September the 8th of 2011, our schools were taken over in June of 2011. Superintendent Mason of Lewis County sent a letter to Mrs. Marple, superintendent at the time, amending their CFP to an inter-county school. Oddly enough, the meeting for the Gilmer County CEFP, which was behind and needed to be done, I do not deny you that, was advertised on September 15th and was not held until the 28th and was not approved until December 12th by the SBA. Yet by that time, the inter-county school had been established with no input from Gilmer County. Absolutely none. And had been approved, to go over there. So that's what was done, and that's very incongruous. How does that letter go to the superintendent prior to any CEFP by Gilmer County? I don't understand it. But these are the kind of things that happen, and this is what causes our people to be very upset. They are sitting there, and these things happen when you ask a question, you get no answer, not from this board, but at our local level. We get no answer, totally ignored. No one wants to explain it. So you can understand what's been happening. Now we come to December 12th, 2011, after our CEFP was approved that date. January 4th, 2012, Griffin Realty.
2 minutes remaining.
Griffin Realty assesses this 74 acres that they're asking you to approve a purchase agreement on today. Less than 1 month after that. Our needs submission came in with an unrestricted fund balance of $1,916,000. Today it's $1,117,000. We've only got $200,000 budgeted for land, but effective July 1 and September 1, you're expected to tell us to pay $463,000 essentially. Don't quote the number, you have it in front of you. These things are breaking us. Now we have a capital projects fund that has over $1,044,000 of local money that had been saved toward this new school on Cedar Creek that no one's had any input. No one's seen the first piece of paper from an architect. No one has any idea. We get our needs submission by going online whenever the SBA or the Department of Education is grateful, and puts it on. Until you do, we see nothing. We are unable to get anything. So that's why the people of Gilmer County are upset. They are excluded. They're not living free. This needs to be looked at. This really does. Has there been no oversight by this board? I know these people are appointed down the line, and I understand you cannot be at every school. You have 55 counties to oversee. But at some point, there has to be some oversight. I had an interim, or the liaison, actually told me at one point that Gilmer County had operated in the red. In order to convince the gentleman, who was well known, I had to actually go and print the audit reports. And this is the kind of story that came out from beginning to end. Oh, we were in the red, oh, this and that. None of it was true, but you actually have to go prove it yourself. I'm not an attorney. I don't intend on having to seek legal advice every single time something that is written plainly in West Virginia Code happens. And I ask you to take a look at this. it isn't right. We need you. We need your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Chuck, would you mind meeting with the two representatives, and just get the issues or their copy, and so we can address them, if you would go now. All right, next delegation.
Yes, Madam President, the next delegation is Mrs. Patsy Holliday, and her topics of discussion deal with Fayette County Schools.